In this demonstration, I'll showcase to establish a private PKI on Certinext. I'll start by creating a root certificate authority. For that, navigate to the certificates section and select create root CA. So on the top right, we have the plus button. We simply click on the button to create a root CA. So when you select the root CA, specify the validity. In this case, I'll go ahead with 10 years validity. Click on next and enter the certificate authority details. That includes the distinguished name, validity period, the organization name, organization unit, country, state provision, locality. So once I enter all this detail, I can move ahead to the key information. So as you can see, I filled all the information. I move to the next step. So the next is the key information. So we support RSA, ECC, PQC algos. Depending on the nature of usage, we can select the algorithm type. So in this case, I'll just go ahead with the RSA 2048 SHA-256. Also, we need to ensure that all the trust chain follow the root CA key information, that is RSA 2048, respectively for the sub CA and the end entity. And then we move ahead, configuring the key usage and enhanced key usage settings to define the certificate's intended functions, right? Ensuring that the trust chain adheres to the root CA key algorithm and security policies. Additionally, we can add remarks for the reporting tags that enable us to filter out the report using the remarks on the information. In this case, I'll keep it as blank skip and go ahead to the summary of the certificate. I'll quickly review. The information is looking fine. The total amount is displayed. And now I go ahead and create my root PKI after the payment. So now my payment was successful and you can see my root CA is successfully created. The next step is to establish a subordinate CA. So I'll select the subordinate CA option, select my root CA. The validity period will be auto-fetched and input all the CA details. That includes the common distinguished name, the organization name, organization unit. I'll keep the name as identical since this is just a test demonstration. So I'll just give it as my test sub CA. Similarly, the organization name, organization unit, select the country, the state, and the locality. And next, input the key information. As I mentioned, we had created the root CA using RSA 2048 SHA-256. It is necessary for the sub CA and the N entity to follow the same key algorithm. Hence, I'll select the RSA 2048 SHA-256 for this subordinate. Click on next and specify all the necessary CRL extensions, AIA if required, CP policies, the key usage, and the enhanced key usage of the certificate. So the subordinate CA follows similar configuration, but inherits trusts from the root CA, ensuring a structured PKI framework. That is where the key algorithm must be followed as per the root CA while generating subordinates of the entity of the PKI trust. So in the key usage, I'll go ahead with non-repudiation, digital signature, enhanced key usage as server, client code signing, and email protection. If need to add any remarks, we can add to the subordinate CA certificate. In this case, I'll skip and jump to summary and payment of the subordinate CA certificate. So I'll quickly review my order detail. Everything looks fine. All the details are accurate. The validity period, the CA extensions, the CRL is enabled, key usage, the enhanced key usage, the total price, and I'll go ahead with the purchase by clicking on pay now. So this gets auto deducted from my wallet, and now I have my trust chain. My root as my test root 001 and my subordinate as my test sub CA. So the third step is to create an entity subordinate to issue the certificates under this trust chain. I'll go back to the certificate authority, click on the plus button at the right top corner, select my subordinate CA, that is my test sub CA, select as an entity certificates. So all the certificates will be issued by the subordinate to an entity such as users, devices, servers, applications. So similarly, I'll provide all the CA details. So again, since this is a testing demonstration, I'll just give the identical names. Select the country, state, province, locality, and select on next, input all the key information. As I mentioned earlier, we have to follow the root CA key algorithm. The trust chain must follow the root CA algorithm in order to inherit the trust from the root CA and to follow the structure of PKI framework. So again, similarly, I'll enable the CRL for my identity certificates, subordinate CA, enable the CPs. We do have the option to include any custom CRL URL, custom CPS, then define the now specify the enhanced key usage. So I'll go ahead with server client code signing email protection and specify my policy OID and select next. It's an additional, again, we can add remarks for reporting purpose, or else I'll skip in this case and jump to review my summary of the certificate validity, the details, key algos, the CRL is enabled, policy CP is included, certificate policy, the key usage, enhanced key usage, the payment, the cost, policy ID, everything looks fine. So I'll go ahead with the purchase and pay now. After the successful payment, hence, I've successfully completed the steps to create a private PKI hierarchy, ensuring a scalable and secure certificate management system for my business. So as I can see on the dashboard, my root CA is my test root CA, my sub test CA, and my N entity is my test CA.